Well, here's the story so far today, but it's the next one that the crowd will be interested in. Home interest and local interest indeed. Isabella Hertrich, a resident of Mulheim. And they've had a great run to get here. Just waiting for the officials to come onto court. And here's the route through. Unseeded. The German pair, they've had an excellent run through to this this stage. Really hard fought 3-set victory in the quarterfinal, as you can see there. Fukushima and Hirota, slightly easier passage against the Stoyeva sisters from Bulgaria, the third seeds as they were. You can see it's Huang and Lee waiting for the winners of this in the final. Well, the officials are out there, we're just waiting for the players at the moment. And wait for this noise.
From Japan, Yuki Fukushima und Sayaka Hirota, und aus Deutschland, Isabella Hertrich.
Yeah, here they come onto court. Local heroes, they've had a great week this week. In the first semi-final at this level against what you'd have to say is the more experienced Japanese pair of Fukushima and Hirota. Gonna have the toss of the coin. It'll be interesting to see if the same happens as in the all the previous 3 matches, that it's the choice of ends rather than the service. Normally you'd decide that before you came onto court. No, they've taken service. And it's the Japanese who take this near side first.
As you say, and normally you would decide that before coming on court, and I would never in the Windy Stadium select serve. I would always choose side.
Well, here's Isabel Hertrich, as I say, born in Horsbruck, but now a resident of Mulheim, 24 years of age. A tall athlete, has been as high as 27 in the world with a previous partner, the more experienced, and now retired as of yesterday, Birgit Obitzia. The partner, Carmen Neltzer. So the ranking's a little bit false because this is a new partnership. They only came together in October last year. She also has been higher with the previous partner, got up as high as 17 in the world. Again, quite a tall athlete. As I say, don't worry too much about that ranking of 57. We've got 4 or 5 tournaments together so far. Here's how they got to this semi-final stage. And they've had to work hard. And of course the standout result there is the second round win. That's an excellent win against Kuman and Yunea. Very, very hard for 56 minutes there, and again another 3 sets in the quarter-final last night when the crowd really got behind them. They had a tough first set, looked very nervous, really didn't look like they were going to come through, and the crowd really got behind them and played an excellent match from midway through the second set there. Moving across to their opponents today. As I say, this Japanese pair a little bit more experienced. World ranking of 23 in the world. Been around a lot at this level, had wins at this level as well. But not as strong as some of the opponents they've beaten already this week, I'd have to say. Just confirmation, Hirota, only 22 years of age, has been as high as 14 in the world. Fukushima, fairly similar age and obviously fairly similar ranking. They've been as high as 14, currently at 23. Probably their standout results at this level. They've won the Chinese Taipei together, also won the New Zealand Grand Prix Gold, and there's their route through to the semi. Had to knock out a couple of seeds on the way. Pauline Pradipta, close second round match there.
Yeah, second longest match of the tournament, hour and 23 minutes.
Ladies and
There's
gentlemen,
umpire from
on my
Portugal.
right, Yuki Fukushima, Sayaka Hirota, Japan.
This judge Robertson from Belgium.
And on my left, Isabel Ertrich, Carla Nelta, Germany.
Well, the form book's been thrown out of the window in this half of the draw this week. Steen, how do you see this one?
Yeah, very interesting to see what's going to happen, because I haven't seen these two Japanese players in the whole match. I've seen some of their matches, but they're of course part of a very, very good women's doubles department in Japan. One of 4 pairs entered into this tournament here. Done well last year in especially New Zealand Open, as they won. But the German pair, you shouldn't underestimate the effect of being on in front of a home crowd. There's no pressure on them.
Service over.
They only recently formed their partnership. Isabel
Love.
Hertrich, as you said, used to play with Birgit Overzieher and Carla Nelta with Johanna Goliszewski, where together with her they played at the Olympics. So they're not without experience, and they've set to the bulletin who comes up here every day in during the German Open that they feel that sometimes they can sort of catch the Japanese players by surprise in the first game. So probably they are to do the same again in this match here, but they've got to hope that there's no German-speaking person in the Japanese team, because otherwise they'll be alert to it.
Yeah. It's been interesting watching them during the week. I mean, it's almost visibly seeing the partnership grow. Both of them, as you say, good experience with previous partners. I haven't seen them before this week. I hadn't seen them play together. Oh, that's a bad miss. But, you know, they're both experienced. What impressed me, particularly in last night's match, was how confident they were in defence. They defended very, very well as a pair, and were able to use good variety, a lot of blocks, a lot of lifts, making the court very big for their opponents, playing with a lot of patience. And it's not something you'd normally expect from a newly sort of formed pair.
No. They have no head-to-head, these two pairs, of course, but the Japanese pair, they played Isabel Hertrich together with Birgit Overzieher in Scottish Open 2015 and won that match. So if that's something to go by, probably would side with the Japanese, but yeah, it was a good result beating the top seeds for Nelta and Hertrich, so I wouldn't dare to bet on one of these sides yet.
It's just drifted along. What I quite liked as well, I mean, we've both seen them play with other partners, but this is a very different pair.
Yeah.
This is they were playing in a very different style, I have to say, when I was watching yesterday. And as I say, this defensive formation works really well. They're very patient in attack. They know they haven't got the big weapons from the rear court, so they're very patient. They play with a lot of variety, but the defense, as we can see here, is good. A little bit unlucky.
5-2.
Bit lucky interception by Hirota there. Could have well been a mistake. actually, in women's doubles, we often see that
Service
it can be an
over.
advantage to play the faster side because you sort of
3,
are able to
5.
penetrate the defense. So I think it's positive for Hertrich and Nelte, what we've seen here in the beginning, that they were able to withstand the two Japanese players' offense. First Germans in the semifinals since Mark Zwiebler in 2014 and Juliane Schenk in 2013 were the last German in a
5.
final here in Mulheim. The last winner of the last German winner here on home soil in German Open. We have to go all the way back to 1975. That's a little bit amazing. It also shows how strong the tournament is.
Well, it is one of the more traditional tournaments on
It is.
tour. I mean, it was first held in 1955. And when you look at the roll of honour of the winners, it's a who's who of badminton.
It is.
I mean, everybody from
5
Eddie Chung, the
all.
recently departed Erlen Kops, Morten Frost, Flemming Delfs. I mean, the list of winners, Lin Dan, Chen Long, Paul-Erik Boye Larsen, all these Olympic champions. I mean, it's a tournament with real pedigree.
Service over.
We must say that it's
6.
also a lot of
5.
credit to the organizers
Yes.
for putting on a show here before the finals. 1 hour, 1.5 hour show here, totally sold out arena in Mulheim.
I mentioned at the beginning, at the opening, that it is a tournament that the players look forward to because they know it's well run, it's
7,
efficient,
Yeah.
5.
everything works behind the scenes for them. Practice facilities are good, and transport's very efficient. The players feel relaxed here, and that's why they keep coming back.
Good return.
Yeah. Both of them, of course, have played a little bit of mixed in the past as well, so
7.
serve and return situations are nothing to worry them. They've both had some decent results in the mixed doubles event.
Hertrich, Isabel Hertrich had a bronze medal from the World Junior Championship together with Max Schwenger in
7
2010
all.
in Mexico.
Yep.
But I think it's a well-composed pair here.
Service over.
Yeah. Unlucky.
They've actually played
8. 7.
once, at least once earlier. They won the White Knight Russia Open in 2013, Nelte and Hertrich.
Should be disappointed with that. They don't give many easy points away.
7.
We talk about them as a new pair. I mean, on the other side of the court, you mentioned earlier on how strong the ladies' doubles is in Japan
Yeah.
at the moment. But one of the things I really like about the Japanese ladies' doubles is when they put the pairs together,
9.
they leave them together.
Yeah.
And they put them in the lower level tournaments and they let them work their way up and they give them time and they build their experience and they show patience with them. And that really impresses me because at the moment with China, you're seeing them changing pairs
They-
almost
they can't
every
figure out.
event. They can't figure it out. And
No.
the Japanese, they make their decisions
Service
and they
over.
give their pairs time to develop. And I think that
10.
they're really reaping the benefits of that, as we saw in the Olympic Games, of
Yeah.
course.
But it's also, I mean, yeah, I definitely would say that China created problems for themselves in the Olympic qualification period. I think it was obvious to most
Service over.
people that the combinations were not the correct ones.
9.
There were some personal issues as well on some of the other combinations that just meant that they didn't came to the Olympics as a very strong team. It's interesting to see whether they will. I mean, of course, it's a problem that many other nations don't have because they don't have that many good players to choose from. But as you say, the Japanese, they're very good at sort of selecting who should be the pairings, and then only on very rare occasions split up.
Another good rally. Very patient from the German pair again. Oh, just missed
Service
that.
over.
Well, that's 11, but
11-9
right in it.
interval.
Much better start than they had, I have to say, in the quarter-final last night when they looked very nervous. 11-9, they're right in this game, but it's the Japanese pair of Fukushima and Hirota who take a 2-point advantage into the mid-game interval. Got a quick look there at the German coaches. Quite interesting as well with the German coaching system, how they're working really hard with their current, well, what are their current players and putting them through coach education so that when they retire, they're integrating them into the system almost straight away. It's quite an interesting innovation, I think.
Good way to sort of reap the benefits of experience. So Johannes Schüttler here.
Yep.
A major overhaul in the German system. Not only have the national coach changed from Holger Hasse back to Detlef Poster, who was a national coach a number of years ago, but they've also they have two Olympia Stützpunkts where the practice is assembled in Germany, one in Saarbrücken and one here in Mulheim, and both these two girls live here in the area.
Service over.
Patrick here in Mulheim, but Carla Nelte not far away from here in Oberhausen.
10,
So
11.
earlier it's been the way that all the girls had practice here in Mulheim and all the boys were practicing in Saarbrücken, but that's changed now, so all the doubles players are practicing here in I'm not sure about that, whether it's the singles or the doubles players, but the singles players practice together and the doubles players practice together, which makes, of course, perfectly
10.
sense.
Yep.
And that shows also that Germany has become a strong badminton nation, because early on it actually made quite good sense to have the women's team practicing together, because a number of the players were playing both women's singles and women's
Service
doubles.
over. 11-12.
Well, they're right in this game. 11-12. Settle the nerves, playing out some good rallies. As I say, not scared to defend.
No.
And here, very patient from the rear court.
That's well played.
Yeah, it's good variety. You know, they've played blocks, they've played lifts, and then suddenly putting the drive in, caught their opponents off guard.
And it looks like it was a Japanese mistake, but it was bound to be a Japanese mistake unless it was totally amazing skills from the Japanese player, because that drive was so good.
Service over.
The Germans have always been known for being in really, really good shape. I still feel it's not that these two German women are not in good shape. I think they definitely are. I still feel that the Japanese pair are even stronger physically, and I think it's going to be a battle between the strength of the Japanese pair and the tactical ability of the Germans to sort of be patient enough.
13-all.
Yeah, I think both pairs are reasonably fit, or very fit.
They are.
Very fit, actually. It's just different types of fitness. I mean, the German pair, it's more sort of aerobic. You know, they're happy to play the longer rallies. There's not a lot of explosive strength, I would say.
Exactly, that's exactly
But
what I mean.
the Japanese pair, obviously, they're
Stronger.
yeah, they've just got that
Powerful.
little bit more physical strength. But as you say, tactically, the Germans are doing very well to get that sort of their own consistency into the game.
And as you said a little bit earlier, again, that they're not making a whole lot of mistakes, and that's the first thing in women's doubles. Don't give easy points away, and a good attack there from Carla Nelte.
14-all.
That's good. I mean, as I say, the first game last night flew by. They never really settled down in it, but already you can see they've learned from that experience and they've come out today much better prepared.
And perhaps also yesterday, I mean, they could see that there was a good chance of making this semi-final here and playing in front of a full
15,
hall here in
14.
Mulheim.
Another good example from Nelsa there. Good short serve and confident to step in with those mixed experiences that she's got to kill the shuttle on the third shot. Good play.
Service over.
Tied again at 15-all, nothing to choose.
15 all.
But I like the German attitude even there because they still got one more shuttle back. They still forced the Japanese to win the point. Trying to build pressure. There's that.
It's called in.
It's been called in.
Ah,
Not sure about that one. If it was right on the outside of the line.
Play.
Yeah. Bit of variety on serve, flick serve, first one. That's a good block.
Service over.
good control.
Well, from this end, I was about to say that's going out because everything else is
Yeah.
going. Straight clear's almost been impossible on this
16
from this side,
all.
but that's great control. Tied again.
Play.
Crowd starting to get into this as well. 16-all, it's money time. Bit disappointed with that one.
Yeah. I think they could get a little bit tensed at the moment, Patrick and
17,
Nelta.
16.
I think they tried to play a little bit too clever from the mid-court position, a little bit below the tape. No need to get too greedy there. Just lift it and rely on your defense. And they've missed a
18.
couple of points here.
16.
Good shot from Fukushima though. Not wanting to go into that mid-court block game. Use the full width of the court, open the court up and force the error. That's good net.
But it's getting too soft from the backcourt for the Germans right now.
19.
They're walking in. Japanese are
16.
anticipating, aren't they? Moving forward the whole time. Yeah.
Good shot.
Su-
Excellent.
Super skill.
20. Game point. 16.
Game points to Fukushima and Hirota.
It's 5 straight points
Yeah.
for the Japanese pair.
Service
Come a
over.
long way out. Yeah,
17.
she's telling herself
20.
can't use the drive from this end from below the net. It's going to just catch with that drift and go out the back. Well, that's 2
18,
saved, but
20.
still 2 to come. 18-20.
That's well played. That's much, much better.
Yeah, and good rally as well. They used the full width of the court.
Yeah.
Good length, full width, created some space.
19.
And a good finish.
20. Play.
Well, that's 3 gone.
Sayaka. Sayaka.
defence.
Great save by the Germans.
It's gone, I'm afraid.
Game.
First blood to the Japanese pair, Fukushima and Hirota. But it was tight.
First game won
21-19.
by Yuki Fukushima, Sayaka Hirota, 21.
To say, still all to play for in this match. As I say, for the German pair, a much more positive first game than last evening, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was just that run of 5 points
Yep.
where they seemed to lose the plan.
Yeah, you're right. They
That's-
just go a little bit too soft. I agree.
They're going to kick themselves when they review this on video after the tournament. But also, great effort by the Japanese to know exactly when to step up.
Well, coaches working hard, both sides. Reflects how tight that first game was, the amount of effort that's going into this coaching break. But I think you're right, in the rear court, the first shot has to go down with a little bit of pace just to fix the opponents in the mid court.
Yeah,
If the first shot from the rear court's soft, it's just allowing the opponents to come in and
exactly. And you sort of leave your partner at the net stranded because
Yep.
she can't choose anything. She can't choose a side. She can't go back.
that should be a minor change, really. The rest of the game was pretty solid, I think.
Fourth one.
It
A
was.
lot of good things.
It was.
A lot of good variety on defence. Serve and return, very good.
That's the only thing, in my opinion, that they should be aware of.
And from the Japanese side, what do you think would be the coaching point there?
That's a really good question because I think, as you mentioned earlier, when they compose their pairings, sometimes I have a feeling that they don't take into consideration how the others play. They just focus on what are we going to do? What is it that we want to do with our game?
Second game. Level. Play.
I think it would be wise for the Japanese to when attacking, it would be wise to put in a couple of punch clears to sort of open the German defense up.
And of course, they're at the right end to use that tactic now as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's impossible on the other side,
Yep.
but now you can do it.
1 love. Service over.
I think maybe that would have gone long.
1
Yeah.
She's
all.
not taking it
I
Hirota.
think that was the error, though. I think she was trying to get out
Yeah.
of the way, wasn't she?
Service over.
And you simply
2,
can't afford
1.
to make these mistakes.
No.
I know they're there in all matches, but it's too big a mistake.
Three, 1.
But it's going to be tough now for Patrick and Nelta. I know they're on home court and they have the support of the audience, but it's still going to be tough because, I mean, it's not like these two Japanese girls are going to create or make a whole lot of errors. They're just going to keep on grinding.
Well, I think that's the first thing they've got to do. They've got to match that. And
Yeah.
4,
the problem here is
1.
they've just made 3 errors. They've hit the shuttle out 3 times.
And they're
Can't do that.
now there's a 3-point gap, and that could be decisive for the game. Especially if you try to close that gap quickly.
And they're being caught with the end here as well.
Yeah.
Japanese able to use the flick
5,
serve from this end to
1.
break the game up. Japanese playing the conditions very well so far at the start of this game.
Play.
Made a little break here already. good play.
Yeah.
Very good play, because as you say, they started the rally by using the cross slip.
6.
So they're
1.
able to punch the shuttle out quick,
Exactly.
create some space, then there's space in the front court. It's very good tactical play from the Japanese pair there. Again, flick. Seem to be looking to get Neltzer off the net, don't they?
Yeah, but that was
There's the
a clear misunderstanding. I mean, Hattrick was covering the totally opposite of what she should have covered.
Oh.
That's well played.
It's over.
Yeah, nice little set play. Cross clip smash here. Opponent and partner stepping out to take the straight. And that's where Nelson's very good on that interception
Yeah.
roll. Well, they needed that point. Stop the flow a little bit. Give themselves time to compose themselves. Looking for the same play again.
Yeah, that's right.
Just wide.
Three, 6.
And that's, in my opinion, what they missed there in the first game with the big run of points for the Japanese. The Germans, they didn't realize that if the shuttle is on the baseline, then you're actually in a defensive position. Even though you can, this is a defensive position for the Japanese. If they don't play it well, they will get counter-attacked. It almost happened here.
Yep.
7, 3.
Well, that's the difference, though, because the Japanese pair kept pace on the shuttle
Yeah.
and kept the Germans fixed in the mid-court.
Good call.
Yeah, playing the conditions again.
8.
Very
3.
noticeable for me in this second game that they're trying to not give Neltz opportunities in the front court.
Yeah.
They're really trying to play around her when she's getting to the front of the court, not letting her in the rallies.
Service over. 4, 8.
Service over. 13, 14.
No,
Service over.
Can't
9,
push
4.
from this side of the court.
no, that's yeah, just not really mentally very lucid there. That's 2 or 3 times they've done that, been tempted into the
Yeah.
push from this side and hit it out the back, and they can't afford that. That's a better play. Yeah, same again, I'm afraid. They've got to use the front court there.
Yeah, and I think here
10,
inexperience is.
4.
I mean, inexperienced. They're 26 and what
24.
24. So it's not like they're young, but they're still inexperienced in playing in conditions like this against a good pair as Fukushima and Hirota.
Yeah, it's a learning process, and
Yeah.
they've had a great week. I mean, to get a tournament like this early in your sort of career as a pair, they only started in October, is great. It will be
Yeah.
an accelerator for them, you know.
And I mean, had you asked them before the tournament if they would sell it for a semi-final and a victory over the top seeds, I guess you would have gotten a yes. And
11, 4.
I think it's telling actually that we've seen Birgit Overseer here before the commencement of play getting rewarded. And she's playing her last tournament, and Germany is having another women's doubles doing well.
Well, that takes us to the mid-game break. It's 11-4, 7-point advantage for the Japanese pair. And you have to say they're worth that. They're worth that lead. They've played a very, very solid game. They've used the conditions very well so far in this second game. And all the pressure's on the young German pair at the moment. And from a coaching perspective, I mean, going away from this tournament, if they do lose this semi-final, there's a lot to work on. There's a lot to work on. The video will come on, and there's a lot of good building blocks.
There's a lot of motivation.
Yeah.
There's a lot of motivation to take away from this tournament, because beating a good Japanese pair and showing that they can play rallies and they can create winners against another Japanese pair, that's really, really good to take that on in practice.
11-4, play.
Service over. 15-16.
That's good.
Service over.
From the Japanese pair, it's quite interesting because they've got a good record at this level, haven't they? But they've not really
5-11.
made the breakthrough at Super Series yet.
No, but then again, I mean, there's so many of them, the Japanese women's doubles. I mean, we have 4 in this tournament, and we know that Takahashi and Matsumoto, the Olympic champions, they're not here. So there's at least 5 really, really strong pairs. So that's 10 players. Do you have the fundings to send all those 10 players out to tournaments? I'm not sure of that.
Oh, it's good play. Really good play.
Service over. 6-12.
Be a great comeback for Nelson and Hattrick if they were to take this match into a deciding game. Good shot.
They just need a little run. They need the
Yeah.
crowd to get behind them. They need the Japanese to start thinking. I mean, it's not over by a long
7-12.
way. I mean,
And I've noticed on that backhand side there, we've seen a couple of mistakes, but we've also seen some winners created by the Germans.
it's just long again.
Service over.
But I think it's a little bit wrong that Hattrick is
13-7.
reaching for that one, trying to intercept, because it seems like a good chance, but in fact it's a trap, because most of them will go like this, long.
Yeah.
Some of them will go into the net, and then there will be a couple of them that will be fantastic winners that will look good, but statistically it's a losing shot.
And as we were saying, that's the learning process.
Yeah.
To play the conditions in the big halls is a major part of the game. You know, as you move up in levels, the halls get bigger, the crowds get bigger, and the conditions become more difficult, and you need to adjust your play to the conditions. And in this game, they've struggled to do that, I have to say. That's clever. Clever from the slower end, able to use the flick serve,
Yeah.
take Neltzer away from the net position. Neltzer desperate to get forward, caught by the flick serve. That's just good experienced play.
7.
Oh, whoa.
Well, again from the Japanese, very good. Neltzer trying to get forward, and they didn't let her.
That's good.
Because when she does, that's what she can do. She's very destructive from mid to forecourt.
Very, very dangerous on the midcourt when
Yep.
she has the opportunity
Yep.
there. She's clinical.
8.
Yeah,
15.
it's really good. And the confusion early on in the rally was that she was desperate to get to the front court.
In the side where the shuttle probably wouldn't
Yeah,
come.
but it's good she's being proactive.
Yeah,
I like
and I
it.
mean, I like that, because that's the only way you get the experience. I mean, if you don't make any mistakes, you haven't tried hard enough.
Oh, Good defense. And again. Oh. Well, we've said it a few times already, but she's lethal on the mid-court from that forehand side.
Yeah.
That's a great kill. That wasn't an easy shot.
No, and that's also something that is useful taking away from this tournament. Seeing where are the areas that we can sort of utilize in our game plan.
Yeah.
9-15. Service over.
This is where coming forward or going forward, Hertwig should look for opportunities from her backhand side to use the cross smash and sort of set it up for Nelte to use her very good steep smash there from mid-court area.
That's good return.
Service over.
Very good return.
10-16. Wait. Service over.
I don't like the drop shots, the soft drop shots. They've cost them
Yeah,
in this match.
just too many, I think, really.
70-10.
Aber auch unsere Hochachtung an die Unterlegen lernen. Minazu, Vitani from Japan. Thanks a lot.
Missed it. Good rally though, well constructed.
Auf den Corner Flugzeug weiter
With Fukushima and Hirota, what you were saying earlier is actually quite interesting, Finn, because there are a lot of Japanese pairs probably still ahead of them. But it's interesting, they had a spell last year where they played 4 consecutive tournaments where they actually had some good results within the tournaments, but when they eventually lost, they lost to Japanese pairs.
Yeah.
So it sort of makes you a point for you. Well, this is beginning to look terminal now. 9-point advantage. 19-10.
Seems like they're making another final here, and I think they've got some momentum going for them.
Yep.
Also, they haven't really had the chance, as you say, on Super Series level, so we must expect them to be hungry.
This has been solid. They've had the crowd against them. They've had a pair that have been playing with no pressure. Certainly this second game's been very, very solid. No errors, tactically good. Used the conditions very well. Yeah, and that brings up match points.
20, match point, 10.
Little bit of an anticlimax for the crowd, but it's been a great week for the two German girls. They'll have learnt a lot from this, and a semi-final at this level, no mean achievement this early in their partnership.
Game.
That's it, all over. It'll be the Japanese pair going through to the final tomorrow. But what a good week for this young German pair. Nothing to be ashamed about in this match either. Lost to a pair with an awful lot of experience at this level, who've already won at this level.
Match won by Yuko Fukushima, Sayaka Hirota, 21-19, 21-10.
There's confirmation of the score from the umpire. 21-19, 21-10 in 39 minutes. What a good week for this young German pair. But eventually it's the Japanese pair of Fukushima and Hirota who go through to tomorrow's final.
Sayaka Hirota. See you tomorrow at the final. Ladies, it was a tough game, and the audience has said, what was the problem today?
Yeah, well, as I said, the last time we played against the Japanese, the start is very important, and we did okay, but yeah, we were a bit unlucky in the end of the first game, and then then it gets very, very tough.
Very tough. When you look back at this week here in Germany, the audience is great. 3,000 people watch and want to see you winning again. But what will you remember maybe in a few days from this week?
Oh, yeah, of course it was a great week for us. We had a lot of experience here and a lot of great games and great support from all of you. And yeah, we will remember this for a long time.
Thanks a lot. It was a pleasure to have you here. Isabel Hartwig and Karla Nelte. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, they're going to be satisfied 1 or 2 days from now with their effort.
Welcome back, and there's confirmation of what's been happening so far today. Well, we're left with the fifth and final match of today's coverage, and it's the battle of the big guys. Two of the biggest and tallest athletes around on the scene at the moment. Vladimir Ivanov against Mads Kolding. Probably the two tallest athletes on the circuit at the moment. Here's the route through to the semi-final. It's as seeded, nothing to choose between them, second and third seeds. And the same with the world rankings, 8 and 9 in the world rankings, so this is a really tight one. Both got through in straight sets, through to this semi-final. And there's a lot of history between these two pairs. Probably on paper in terms of world ranking, the game of the day, I'd have to say. Two top 10 pairs, 8 and 9 in the world. There's the Russian pair coming out onto court. Former European champions playing current European champions. of course, the Russians have got that even bigger title on their resume now.